right. My name is Matt Kemps. I'm the co-founder of Lone Wolf Realty Group at eXp Realty. We have
Matt Kirschling with Gold Star Mortgage.
and our guest today.
Michele Hendrix with the Hendrix Residential Group at eXp Realty.
Awesome.
There we go.
Happy to have you.
Thanks.
So
I'm
before
excited.
we came on, and I don't want to skip it, I want to get right to it because I felt like it was such a good topic. You had said to me, now that everybody is at eXp and everybody's happy, you are excited to do something along these lines and get on a podcast because, and I asked, well, what changed? And you said, I was a big naysayer on this and I'm all about getting outside of my comfort zone now. Mm-hmm. Can you unpack that for me?
Well, I didn't say naysayer, but I guess but it could be conveyed that way. I just was not one to go and do the thing.
Gotcha.
I thought that my business was on autopilot. I had referrals. I had my people. I didn't feel like I needed to scale. Some days I felt like I needed to scale back. So why would I go and make myself more visible or do something that was really scary? But now I realize that I wasted a lot of time not doing that. Because
What changed with the business? I mean,
great question. So I didn't realize that I was sort of in my own way when I was settling for a certain feeling at another brokerage. I've been at lots, and there's lots of wonderful things about them, but I wasn't getting, like in my heart and soul of real estate, what I really needed. And I just didn't know I was missing it until I landed in all of this enthusiasm and energy. And I mean, I had a better year in 2024 than I did in 2023, and those were both really hard years for everyone.
yeah.
So the fact that I did better in a worse year just by getting a little bit out of my comfort zone tells me that if I get a lot of it out of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
my business is going to look a lot different and probably a lot more exciting still.
So this is like a new topic that we haven't touched on very much that's super exciting for me. Just to give you an idea, I mean, the idea of the podcast is not only to just have conversations and meet people, but it's really designed to try to, for lack of a better term, give back to other agents that watch these things and kind of go, oh my God, there's Michele Hendrix. Like, I've always looked up to her in the business. Like, what is she doing? So getting out of your comfort zone, we kind of covered that a little bit, but let's talk more about prior to I want to really harp a little bit more on. So prior to all of this, I don't know what you would call it, change in attitude or whatever, environment. Before it was like, my business, I'm crushing it. I don't need anybody. In fact, I could scale back. I'm just going to continue to do things the way that they are. Was it just the market that changed that kind of gave you the aha moment? Or what was it, like something, maybe you were just dealing with clients you didn't like, or?
Oh, never. I don't do that.
Okay.
I don't.
Can you, and that's what I mean. So like, what changed?
Well, so what changed is, I went from having a team with a staff where I was really enjoying the mentorship piece of it, but that was sort of pulling me back from my clients. And certainly now that I'm on this side of it, I realized that I was just transactional.
Okay.
And that is
Which
wonderful.
side of it now? What side are you on now, you mean? Like
Which side of the change?
Got it.
So before and leading up to this new joy, and my the tagline or fundamental for my team is where joyful living meets legacy investments.
I love that.
And it's been that since before I had even more joy. So anyway, so that's just a phrase that's near and dear to my heart. And so I didn't realize that there was less joy in doing a job that I loved because I was just being transactional. I was from one to the next and always in support and consult with the client, to the very best of my ability. And usually they're really incredibly happy. I'm all about risk assessment and staying, 30 steps ahead. I tell my clients, my glass will stay half empty and you keep yours half full and we'll be great. But what changed is that I went from being transactional and, I'm going to do these units and I'm going to have this price point to I'm going to reinvest in my realtor community, which I didn't get to do as much when I had a larger team, because we invested in the team. So now I'm back with my realtor friends at large, whether they're at eXp or anywhere else. And so that gives me a lot of joy and enthusiasm. And then the level of collaboration changed so much when I moved that, I mean, I pinch myself every day. It is, we're all out there talking about it, and I'm sure some people think that it's bullshit, but
You can say that. We swear on this podcast.
I'll make it better.
Bullshit.
Shit.
There you go.
and I'm sure I used to be one of those people.
Okay.
And so now I got out of my way.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I think these people are having a lot of fun over here. Oh, oops, there's all these misconceptions. I'm going to go see what that's like. And you really only have to be in the room with Stacy Speaks one time to realize the level of joy that you can achieve in real estate space. You should have her on if you haven't already. Mm-hmm. She's a good time. And she's so happy. And all of these other women that have similar modeled businesses to what I do, and families and struggles like I do, we just all see each other and support each other. And I don't feel like I'm in competition with any of them. In fact, I've traveled with them. I mastermind with them. I show up to all of these meetings. That wasn't who I was before I made a big change.
You mentioned it being transactional and then touched on it just ever so slightly, saying that, what was most important was I'm going to do X and you set a lot of goals, for example, and you were sticking to that, which is what made it transactional in your mind. Is there anything else? I guess what I'm getting at is like, what did you start doing differently then? So, because some would say, well, that just sounds like what I do. I set goals, right? Like, what changed to make it less transactional?
My mindset. I mean, the leaning into things like this, getting up and getting on a plane and going and visiting with people that were doing something in the spaces I used to feel uncomfortable in. Like, now I know Matt, and now I know Matt has a podcast. And oh, by the way, it's right down the street from my house. I raised my hand. I asked to come on here.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'll happily be invited back.
Already have the invite.
So what did I do? So what changed is I reinvested in myself, and I reprioritized, and I don't ever remember which is which, but working in the business or on the business, I reprioritized where are my strengths, where do I need to work, and what do I need to lean into where I'm the most productive because I'm the happiest. So
how do you think you let yourself get to that point, not where you are now, but before, looking back, because obviously it's easy to reflect, right? Like, because if I'm hearing you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you are having more fun with real estate, and in turn, it is producing just better results.
And attracting them as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's attracting the people, that are like you. Mm-hmm. I'm a big Ninja selling fan. I've taken it a few times, and I listen to the podcast, and it's the truth for me. It's people that are like you, and you don't need it all. You just need enough, but everyone's enough is different. Mm-hmm. So what I'm learning is that my enough is a lot different than it was before, because what I need is this kindness and collaboration. And there's other brokerages that say that they collaborate without ego, but I've never been in a situation where someone that does $1.3 billion in sales invites me to a 10-person mastermind in Tempe to tell me how to level up in the spaces that I was feeling a little bit what's that word?
Self-conscious?
Yeah, thanks. I don't feel that a lot.
So looking back, do you think this behavior was like was it innately, if you will, taught in the real estate industry that like as you became competitive and got better, that it was like the industry standard that you had to like get a chip on your shoulder? Again, at the time, I'm sure you weren't thinking anything of it. You're like, this is what's up, or like.
I can kind of add to her too.
Please.
It's very much culture based.
Okay.
So we came from different brokerages. I've been in a very competitive space that felt that way in an unhealthy way. Now it's in we're here to help you. I want the more that I help her, the more that it not selfishly benefits me, but like the way that this kind of thing works, we're at that EXP of where we're at, right? The more that I help her, it's going to benefit everyone else that's around her, who's ultimately going to come back to benefit me. And just like, it's not, but you don't do it in a selfish way.
Yeah.
It's you are happier by doing it and you feel really good about doing it.
Like a giver's gain mentality.
It's very much, if you've read the book, Go Giver.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very much of like Go Giver.
Ninja.
Yep. So the whole idea around that, kind of how everyone feels good about it, you go help others. It's going to give a result back to you, but you're not doing it for that result. It's just an end thing that actually ends up happening.
Well, and here's where I'm getting at, and I think we all fall into this trap. It's like, correct me again if I'm wrong, but I think it's safe to say that what you just described is probably something that everyone at this table has known for at least a decade. So why did we avoid it, and why are we getting involved with it?
We didn't trust it. We didn't actually. Well, for me, I was younger. Like, I'm still younger, but like,
yeah,
I was at an age where I was
trying
like,
to make us feel old.
I feel old
Does he
around
do
him
that
all the
a lot?
time.
you should just be thankful you're not Todd Bailey, because I'm like, hey, yo, fuck,
He's mean to Todd.
I can talk to him that way too. So
do it.
I'll remind him.
Good. Actually, I won't get that. I was about to give him so much shit, but I'm not gonna do it.
So
on
you
the
didn't.
podcast.
So you didn't believe it. You felt that the way to get
Well,
ahead
I
was
for me, I had insecurity because of my age. Like, I'm trying to get into a
that
sector.
tracks. Yeah.
I'm trying to get into a sector of luxury real estate and have someone who has one of their bigger assets to trust at the time, a 25, 26-year-old to sell their property. Like, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And like, I had to be kind of like a little bit more competitive, and I had to kind of show like, you know what, I'm fucking all in. I'm going to do my thing. I have high sales. I do all these things. And you kind of have to have a little chip on your shoulder in the environment that we were in and just kind of show what you were doing. And now where it's like, I don't mean to sound like a douche when I say the age portion. I'm still 29.
Yeah.
But the culture that's around me now, I don't feel like I have to go like worry about that. I can just say, hey, I want to help you as much as I want you can help me. And I want to help. I'm going to give. I'm going to give. I'm going to give. And it's just a direct result of everyone around you is just so happy and you enjoy it too.
You're also wildly successful. So I would have never guessed that you're still in your 20s just by the way of how you're set up, how, your confidence. I know a little bit about your story before this. And so you've got the tenure and mindset of someone
true.
that's further along in their career. And then you have the gift of being much younger. So congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Michele and I have been doing this a lot longer, so I'm interested to hear what your take is on what I'm going to say here. So I would say, we'll just say 10 years ago, at least 10 years ago, I can remember as a lender, of course, I'm trying to get in front of real estate agents on a semi-regular basis, and I would go to events all the time where agents would get together and collaborate. Not to the extent that they're doing right now, which is fantastic, but there was a lot of collaboration with agents getting together. And as the market started to continue to get more and more competitive, mainly due to lack of inventory, multiple offers, we started seeing stuff like that as early as like 2016, 2017, right? And I started to see kind of what you're describing in the past happen, where agents were becoming a lot more competitive. I always made the joke as a lender, because it's easy for me outside looking in, but I always made the joke as a lender that there was a lot of real estate agents out there that think they're like attorneys, right? Like, I'm going to do what's best for my client. Like, all right, buddy, chill. We get it.
Yeah.
We hear you.
So are we. We're just going to do it without
Right.
that mood. Yeah.
And so now we're talking like 17, 18. And then I remember when COVID hit, not only were we seeing a slowdown in regards to agents kind of meeting and having, just kind of collaborative things, like brokers opens used to be a thing, right? Now COVID hits, and now number one, you're not really supposed to be even like around anybody. But in addition to that, we're in one of the most intense multiple offer situations that we could be in. And I remember saying on a regular basis to agents, I'm like, y'all are so fucking mean to each other. Like, so mean to each other. The things that I have to like hear and deal with and watch you guys go back and forth, it's ridiculous, right? And I agree. I would throw you a bone. Like, as someone younger who's been in the business, like, that's kind of where you came up. So I can totally see if you came in, you think you have to have this chip on your shoulder. But I'd been in the industry long enough where I was like, it wasn't always like this. It doesn't have to be this way. Mm-hmm. And so to see things kind of coming back to what I would consider to be like, I don't know, normal, if you will, in the real estate business, and hearing agents, top producers. And that's why, like, I'm not even joking. When you said what you said before we got on, I was like, oh, I can't wait. Like, this is exactly what I want to talk about, because I'm finally starting to hear more and more of it. Like, I'm sure Matt told you, we do this barbecue every single Friday. Like, it is.
No, I don't know about the barbecue.
Oh, well, let me tell you, every single Friday we do a barbecue and mingle.
Here?
Right here. I barbecue something different. This week we're doing St. Louis pork ribs. We have 6 slabs of pork ribs. We do all the sides. We encourage agents to come through. You can get on the podcast, come and grab a plate of food, and basically just collaborate with other agents about what's working, what's not working. And those were things that were being done on a semi-regular basis, like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And then, like I said, I would invite other agents to stuff like that, and they'd be like, ick. I am not going to go into an office with a bunch of other agents. Why do I need to do that? None of them are my buyers. None of them are my sellers. In fact, they're my competition. I have nothing to gain from being there. And frankly, I hate all other real estate agents anyway. That was kind of the mentality of like your top agent. So like I
would disagree to some degree, but so I had my chip on my shoulder or my edge or whatever, I'm gonna win mood from 2012 to like 2015. I probably was a little harsher.
Okay. Was that when you were here in Austin, or was that the Santa Barbara years?
I got here in 2007.
Okay.
So, and I was really, really busy. I had 2 little kids, and I still have very little time to like chit chat. But I don't know where the switch was with that, but I also came up in. I worked in fine dining in college, so I got my first job in Santa Barbara with the broker that I did because I didn't have experience except for the fine dining work that I did during college.
Gotcha.
So I knew how to take care of people, and I didn't know how to fuck up yet in the real estate space. So I think what happened is I came back full circle to it's not about, what Will Guidera, it's not about, or no, that's Maya Angelou. They'll remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Will Guidera, I gave that book to like 25 agents 3 years ago, and now it's like the book.
Well, I just bawled my eyes out on the plane from Tempe reading the first half of that book.
Did someone mail it to you?
Incredible. No, Amy Gregory gave it to me in Tempe when I went to go talk to this person who was willing to have me over to discuss her $1.3 billion business.
Gotcha. Unreasonable hospitality, by the way.
Yeah, unreasonable hospitality. And so that always played out. But then also, my husband worked for Southwest Airlines for 23 years. And I know that in business schools all over, they study that early Southwest Airlines model of your employee as your first customer. So I'm not saying that I think that all these realtors are my employees, but they should sure as hell be my front line of people to have access to, be kind to, support, show up for, treat with respect, because sure, that's going to help the offer get to the top of the stack. You know what else is going to help? Talking to them on the phone.
Which is ultimately what's best for your client.
Which is what's best for the client. And so I don't know if that was too tangential, but like I had this switch where the aha was, we're here to collaborate for the best transaction for everyone. I'm not there to, have your client turn up without anything at the closing table or upset that the deal was so shitty for them at the closing table. I believe that you can structure a deal and execute on a transaction with another professional and hopefully, realistic, kind principles, but everyone can be really happy and everyone can win at the table. And that's where the shift in mindset has to happen. And you can tell if the person on the other side doesn't operate that way, and you just let them be an asshole.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to change them.
Yeah. But
you just tell the client that, okay, the expectation is that we've identified the ego. Mm-hmm. And when the ego thinks it's winning,
right,
then we'll win silently.
So 12 to 16 was the chip. 16 till whatever the next transition was what?
That was just me working my ass off. So at that point, I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. And not until 2019 did I start with the team. So I think I was just grinding it out, and I was staging my own listings, and I was working with all these investors, and I was choosing wrong then, because I could have done probably half as much business and spent 100 times more with my kids. And I think I've already told, as soon as I heard you had a kid, I was like, the squishy years go by so fast. You cannot give those up. I would sell my soul to the devil to have those squishy years, the toddler years back.
Right.
Because when I looked up from the team, which again, by the way, if anyone's listening from the team, I love them all dearly. It was an honor to help them. But when I looked up from that and took the blinders off, not only did I see all these realtors that I missed hanging out with and needed to reconnect with, but I noticed that my kids were 10 and 11. And that was probably the most painful thing of my adult life.
And so looking back on it, the biggest kind of issue was just choosing wrong. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I mean, prioritizing wrong for sure. But then
Is that choosing the wrong client or choosing the wrong?
maybe I didn't need the next client or
I see. Okay.
the fifth client or, you know.
It's also just learning from mistakes too. Like your biggest successes are from your mistakes, and you learn from those.
100%.
Yeah, a lot of times I think I know the answer, but I really want to get it out of you.
Yeah.
So then, because I like this, it's like a spiritual real estate journey for you.
I love that this is the way that we're going because this is where my head's at. Like,
Okay.
I do believe that realtors should have better mental health or can have better mental health, and that none of us, the majority of us, 2% of us doing 98% of the business, right?
Yeah.
I bet 100% of those 2% wish that they had some more time with their family, wish that they went on more vacations, you know, but everything's like tomorrow, after this deal, after this listing appointment. And then a decade has gone by.
I'll do a shout out for that real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, February 11th, I'm bringing in my business coach, and it's all going to be on mindset and how to kind of categorize your time with current events that are personally that you want to focus on, and how you have different conversations with different type of people with different type of enneagrams and all that kind of good stuff. It's a 2-hour coaching session that we're going to do at my office. First 60 people to sign up, get to go. And then we're also going to have a Zoom link, but let's pretend like no one knows that. And then I'll send all the times out, and I'll send the Eventbrite out too. But if you want to come, you're more than welcome.
Amazing. I'll be there.
So the mental health portion of everything, do you think we do it to ourselves individually, or do we do it to ourselves as an industry, or both?
I mean, I'm going to think I'm micro all the time. Like I can only control myself.
Right.
So what I know is that there's now that I'm in alignment with all these women that have the same concern and men, you know, dads and moms but they all have similar issues where balance is, I mean, if you say you've got balance, I call bullshit because I've never seen anyone with real balance. I've never had a conversation with someone that was about to hop on a plane that didn't say, oh my God, I had no business. And then last night I put 6 deals under contract. And all of them are difficult. Or,
Why,
you know,
why is that such a flex?
Oh, well, it's not a flex. It's like,
I know
oh my
it's
God,
reality, but like you see that online. You see that like.
Right. But the message is that we're attempting to go out of town. We put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
We're going. We're practically wheels up. We haven't put it in airplane mode yet. And we've got people that want to see property. We've got people that want to finally write an offer after 2 years. We've got, you know, an option period that's about to blow up. So I didn't mean like, you know, oh, I'm going to do all these deals. It's like, oh, everyone was quiet until I wanted to go focus on myself. So how in the hell are you supposed to deal with that? Because you can't leave people hanging. We're in the business of support.
Sure.
So I just think that's a thing we'll always struggle with, and hopefully your personal fixes all.
Were you on the call this morning with Dietz?
I was not.
Okay, so we did Ritz-Carlton Experience this morning. Really good.
Okay.
Listen to that recording.
I will. I love that call.
It is so good. It's one of the best calls I've been on.
Okay.
You want to tell
They're
us
all
anything
really
about
good.
it?
No, we'll just talk about it. Like,
Yeah, no. Actually, no. We're not going to talk about it because I wanted to have people. If you're an agent and you want access to this, go to the YouTube channel and go watch.
Keep them on pins and needles.
Yeah,
So
I
I'll
want you to be
say
excited
that
about it.
so from 8 to 8:30, people from all across the nation get together and they start their day in an incredibly positive way, between scripting and fundamentals. but every single day, there are people on that call that have multi-million dollar producers that raise their hand and say, I am going to refit my business with these fundamentals and this mindset and this vibe from this call. Like, that's how they're starting their year.
Personally, completely changed everything I was doing, going based off what he was kind of coaching. Massive success out of it.
Shout out to John Dietz.
Big shout out John Dietz.
Incredible person.
So let's talk more about your journey, though, as far as, we've covered kind of the first 2 steps. So then we make a transition to this amazing brokerage that is super positive and is 100% collaborative, and that has made a big impact on you. What are a few things specifically for you that, we talked about the vibe, but is there anything that we can really dive into that you're like, I used to do this or not do this and I do this now, and it was like such an aha moment?
Well, I think we started with it. I show up now.
I see. Okay.
I show up to the calls. We have our Market Pulse call on Tuesdays. That's our metro area specific. We have Family Tree on Fridays. That is nationwide, global actually. So that would be the thing that's changed the most. Is before I was just surviving the day, and now I'm John Dietz survive. Now I'm thriving.
Survive to thrive.
His call's called Survive to Thrive. But so I've never made that connection before. This is great news. But yeah, before I was surviving, and now I'm thriving. And when I say it like that, it sounds kind of cheesy, but I'm just it's a happy place when you are in growth mode. And I hadn't been in growth mode for a really long time. And I didn't want to be because I thought I had it all figured out.
What would you say to the past self, that says, I have it all figured out. Look at me. Like that's cool if you want to do that, but I don't need to be micromanaged. I don't need to be a part of these meetings. I don't need a cheerleader or some guy to make me feel more positive. I'm doing X million dollars a year. I make a shitload of money. Like, you can have it. I don't need it.
I would tell that person that they are sad and unhealthy.
It's a vulnerable call now. I like it.
That your priorities are like way fucked up.
Okay.
But another thing that I guess if I flip that around is that I think this was on a Hive call Wednesdays noon.
Rich Thomas.
I know. I don't miss that one either. Like the live call too. You can watch it after. I want the lives for the energy. But I asked myself, or someone told me, and this is a John Dietz thing too, probably. But someone said, "What does your 5-year from now future self think about the effort that you put in today?" So if I can't get the time back that I got, or that I, whatever the word is, like floundered with my children where they should have been front and center. I mean, we have a great life and lots of adventures, but
don't get me wrong. Our learning time period.
Yeah. So squandered, that was the word. So the time I squandered, or the squishy years I call them, I can't fix that. What's the saying? There's a reason your rear view mirror is so much smaller than your windshield.
Yeah.
So I now hold myself accountable to 5 years from now me.
Okay.
And is she pleased with the effort that I put in today? Is she pleased with the mindset that I have in all this? Would she be pleased if I didn't take a leap of faith? Then, that's really how I arranged my day and my mindset fundamentally every single day.
I like it.
Because she's probably still a bitch. She's got high expectations for me and for us, and for Legacy Wealth and all of that.
I get it.
Bitchy, not a bitch.
Yeah.
High standards.
But I understand. Bougie. Got it.
Bougie and bitchy mixed. Whatever
You said it. So what is the 5-year Michele? What does 5-year Michele look like?
Uh-oh.
I mean, she's a bitchy, bougie. What else?
I would say, can we swap bitchy with shrewd?
Whatever
I
you
think
prefer.
that is, I always thought that's such a harsh word, but it's a way I describe my mother as a businesswoman. Like, she knew what she wanted. She didn't
Why not
She
confident
didn't
or direct?
try. Yeah, she didn't try to fit within anyone else's mold. So shrewd. So, what is 5 year from now? Me.
It's 2030.
Okay.
We have flying cars.
I don't want that. I would like to be flying more.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to be private.
Fair enough.
But I would like to be traveling half of the year.
Okay.
I would like.
Where are you going to go?
We're definitely going to go to the snow more. I grew up snowboarding,
Same here.
and
Let's go.
I've got to get on the mountain before I can't get on the mountain on a regular basis. And
Where'd you go?
I used to always go to Mammoth, but I lived, we would drive to Mountain High and Big Bear and Snow Summit, and those were good day trips.
Oh, yeah.
But I used to know Mammoth front and backside, like by myself, no navigation or anything.
A friend of mine just got life flighted off of Mammoth 2 weeks ago.
Oof. Hope he's okay.
It's a she.
Hope she's okay.
She is. She's going to make it.
She's
but
a badass
she's been 8
then.
days in the hospital.
Yeah, it's scary. I guess I got to wear a helmet now. That wasn't very cool back in the day, but
Saved my life.
I'll find a cute one. It's fine. So yeah, I'm snowboarding. I told this group I was masterminding with last week that I'll have a hobby, because that's seasonal, right? So I'll be back into something with horses. I grew up riding horses, and I want my kids to be around those animals. You learn a lot of responsibility in the barn. And if I have a hobby like that I'm actually doing on a regular basis, because you can't just do that a little bit.
Yeah.
So if that person has a hobby, that person is traveling, that person has really happy kids that know that there was a big shift and that they've got really exciting lives.
Now I know the obvious answer, but to try to be somewhat, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe cynical, right? Is this 5 year Michele that's traveling half the year? During that half a year, are we really trying to focus on family and everything along those lines? We're not working at all? And if so, is this kind of the exchange for money versus time?
That person is not working at all, but that person, well, I think you have to work a little bit, right? Because we're going at this brokerage, we're going from I'm going to have a team, I'm going to have a real estate business to I could have a global organization, I could monetize my assets. I need to really diversify my revenue streams because that's what everyone in the rooms that I'm now in are doing, and I am late to the game on. And so that person 5 years from now probably can pilot that life under 20 hours a week.
Gotcha.
Because you have the right people in the right place, right? I'm reading Who, Not How, because I just finished 10X is easier than 2X, and I'll have the who. I'll know who needs to be plugged in where, and then there'll be some residual benefit in there, hopefully a lot of it.
The reason I ask is just because I think sometimes for people it's different, where I'll just use round numbers, right? It's like, well, right now I'm working my ass off. I have no time for anything. I make $1 million a year. And some people are like, I'm totally fine with making half of that and working half the time, right? Like I need to give up some of the things that I'm doing to make this number.
I know.
And so that's what I'm asking, just because
No.
everybody's different, right?
10X
Understood.
with working a fraction of the time.
Got it.
And it is doable, and I don't need to figure out a different way to do it.
Copy
I've got
and paste.
playbooks all over the world who have done it, and people that are so kind and so generous and that will call me and ask me for help in the middle of the night if they need it, and I will pick up and I'll try to show up for them the way that they have for me, because I have all the access in the world I need to have that life in 5 years.
Hell yeah. I want to hang out with 5 year from now, Michele. She
I'm,
sounds
so
really
fun
cool.
right now.
What else do we need to know about you as far as your business, your clients, everything like that, for those that haven't had the opportunity to be graced with your presence?
What do I need to know about me? I enjoy working on the south side of town. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not really trying to go past I mean, 51st, you can drag me up that far.
Oh, wow.
But
See, I'm Domain. I'm South also, and it's like,
I mean, a little Domain, a little Mueller, fine, but probably.
that's it.
I mean, I'm not doing anyone a good service if I cross that boundary. So I do love South Austin, really big in, 04, 45,
Yep.
48, 49. And then Southwest, I have clients I'll go all the way out to Fredericksburg for, my investor clients.
Yeah.
Not always, but I don't mind making that drive because there's wine at the end of it.
There is.
Pretty fun.
But
Just closed an
know.
Airbnb out there last week, and yeah, we went there for the closing and all of that. And
that's
lots
good to
of
know
wine.
there's still deals to be done. That STR drama has been interesting.
You have to make
interesting
sure
ride.
you're doing your research because, yeah, there is a lot of STR drama out there for sure.
Yeah.
This was an existing Airbnb.
5 years from now, I might be participating in that Airbnb drama. I'd love to have a little spot in
There you go.
Fredericksburg, but it's a little pricey now. But what was the question? What are we doing?
The areas that you cover,
Oh,
who your ideal client is,
I-
who don't you want to work with?
Jerks.
Jerks.
My
You
friend,
hear that? No jerks.
my dear friend April Collins started her wine business when she was very, very young, and she didn't have a business plan, and she just wrote assholes on a piece of paper and put a circle around it and an X through it, and she put that on her board, and then she took off from there. And
You
now
know what's
she's got an
interesting is that
incredible
seems to
business.
be the business model of a lot of agents, and I'm wondering if all of these agents aren't working with assholes. Who's working with them?
The agent assholes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Or
Asshole agents.
discounts.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. Who cares?
Right.
I mean, so yeah, my person.
It's not an area of opportunity you want.
Understood. I'm just,
Yeah, and
I'm
telling
just trying to
people no
follow
thank
the-
you is the best. I mean, that's the greatest. Isn't that the greatest joy?
Love it.
I fired one this week. It was so awesome.
No thank you.
Right.
I mean, I'm here to interview them just as much as they're here to interview me. I specialize in a little neighborhood called Castlewood Forest. I've lived there forever. And so if anyone listening to this knows South Austin, they should give me a call
Yeah.
because I have a lot of the inventory in there because I have such incredible neighbors and they trust my experience in that space. I love Western Trails. I don't work in new construction a lot. I've helped people through the custom build process. I don't do I would say I've done that more than I've done any of the production built stuff, but I think that's just because by default, I don't go out to the neighborhoods that have
Kyle.
that. Yeah. But I do want my team to be able to go out to those neighborhoods and be able to do that. So I'm still interested in mentoring. What I've created instead of having a traditional team is more of a launch pad. So if somebody wants to come in and I will mentor up to 5 people at a time for 2 years, and they can have my entire drive in keeping with the spirit of EXP and what I've experienced. So 2 years, access to me, my admin, all of our systems and processes. And at the end of it, they can take all of it. They can use it however they'd like. They can stay on the team in the downline or what have you. But that's something that I'm working on. I'm sort of getting
When did that
situated. I mean, really, it started as soon as I came over, and then I figured out the difference between the team types. Do you have a standard team?
We were mega and then I moved to standard.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want a mega team. That sounds like a lot of people.
10, yeah. It's minimum of 10, and then you have to give basically back, I forget the exact number, 55%, I think it was 60,000 is what EXP makes off the team. Because they have to be at a certain amount, so you customize what their caps are end up being. And then with the model that we have on the team now, it wouldn't be possible in that. So we went, were they standard or self-organized? I forget what we
Standard is where you can have whatever split you want.
Standard, what's that we have?
No.
Self-organized.
Self-organized.
Yeah.
I get it. There's someone I need you to talk to. So about your understanding of the nuances of the different team structures.
Whatever Elizabeth has is what I have.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's it. I'm a boy mom. We're
How many?
sort of sporty. I've got 2. They're 18 months apart. They're wildly different. We're playing flag football right now. We're the Lions.
Nice.
And we are definitely going to the playoffs.
Nice.
And my son is a musician, my older son. So he's playing the stand-up bass, classical guitar, regular guitar, like acoustic guitar, bass guitar, or electric bass, and keys.
Nice.
So between Covington Middle School and their music program and School of Rock, which shout out to them, by the way.
Yeah, that's a cool thing. I
you
wish
ever
that
get a
they had that
chance-
when I was a kid.
I mean, these kids are so good and they're getting so much confidence. It's genius, right?
It's awesome. I mean, I was in bands, so I play all of the instruments that you've made mention of, and I was in bands and stuff, and I was like the music kid in high school and even in middle school, and we were always in the talent show and stuff like that. But I mean, the like nerdiest thing we could do at the time, just showing my age, was like, you know, used to buy like guitar magazines. And then you could figure out how to like read tab and stuff like that. Otherwise, you had to go to like these stupid, boring music, you know, teachers. And that was it. There was no YouTube. There was no like School of Rock. So like the coolest thing and the like, in my opinion, most, you know, just kind of like to get you where you wanted to be thing to do was you had to join a band. And then the only downside is like, you might not be hanging around people that you really want to be hanging around. So like to do the School of Rock and kind of keep that like band thing, you're learning, you know, songs.
Innocence. There's so much, the innocence of the kids. Like that's.
I have a few musicians that I used to play with when I was a kid that are now teachers at the School of Rock.
Oh, cool.
And so I've like gone and seen it. And I mean, the progression that these kids have in such a shorter period of time than what I was doing when I was, you know, a kid, like I don't know any other word to say. Like, it's super awesome, but like, I'm jealous. Like,
it is so cool. Which one do your friends work at?
Oh, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So I've been here for 5 years, but all of the people I know that are doing it are up in Cleveland.
Well, I guess maybe real estate agents need some sort of School of Rock because what they're doing is performance based and not trying to learn how to read music and do all of that. So maybe if there was some sort of outlet for people to new agents to show up and learn how to behave.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's like anything. I mean, you know, it's like having a collaboration, because I look back on, and I like that you brought it up because it is kind of it's a good thing to toy with, where we were getting guys together and playing, but the only difference was that it wasn't like, it just wasn't orchestrated by like somebody in charge, right? So like, you know, you can get agents together at a broker's open or anything along those lines, but then it's kind of chaotic, right? It's kind of like our barbecue. Like, people are here, they're just talking, but to get people together and kind of have something that's orchestrated, I mean, it seems like that's kind of what John Dietz is doing, right?
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking script practice is sort of that.
Right, that's an example, whether it's script practice or just, you know, even like, I mean, hell, even just storytelling. I mean, what are you really doing when you're listening to books on tape or reading? Like, you're hearing someone else's story about something and you're utilizing that and taking it in and ultimately trying to learn from someone else's mistake.
Always.
So it's
Why make your own?
Right. Well, and it's the same thing with music, right? It's like we were just making our mistakes and we didn't have anybody else to be like, hey, I did it this way. You just learn a lot slower. And that's my point about the School of Rock. That's so cool that I'm like so jealous about, is I feel like I would be so much better as a musician if I had something like that, where we had somebody really like overseeing us and doing like the performance stuff instead of us just like painstakingly grinding it out.
Go teach, give back.
And I think that's like a real estate. When you think about it, it's almost like what is it? Like an analogy for real estate. Like, you can jump in, you said it before we got on here, you can jump in both feet in and grind it out and maybe be successful in like 3 to 5 years. Or, you know, you can go to the School of Rock, you know, like the John Dietz stuff, and learn and not focus right away on like, okay, how am I going to close my next deal, but how to get better. And I think in the long run, you're probably going to be more successful in a shorter period of time than you would be if you're just grinding it out.
There's so many different John Dietz opportunities. I mean, the people that are new we need a whole nother episode for fast cap and all of that, but there's really, you can't fall on your face or get it wrong over here if you lean in. So
what else? School of Rock, flag football. What do you like to do that doesn't involve your kids?
Well, those things that I mentioned that I'm going to be doing in 5 years.
Got it. Horseback riding, snowboarding, purchasing an Airbnb in Fredericksburg.
Yep. Hopefully traveling a ton. We do love to travel, and we'll just go without an itinerary on road trips sometime. And that's really liberating. But right now, I just am enjoying being more present for those boys because there was a time when I was less present. So that's just really showing up for them in the most authentic way and open-minded, available.
Do you think
like,
they
present
Do you think
way.
they're recognizing it? Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of that yesterday.
What's that?
Like I'm not at home a lot because I'm working and Kaylee's full-time mom. But yesterday she had a little girls' night and took Lily, went to Amy's ice cream, got us a little ice cream together.
So cute.
God, she fucking.
That's the best.
She loved. It was her first time actually having Amy's, and oh my God, her eyes lit up when she tried strawberry, and then yeah. And then when I went to go put her in her car seat, she fucking lost her shit. She goes, "No, I'm not done yet. I want to go back." And then so I let her sit in the front seat with me. So we just literally sat in the parking lot. I let her stand up, hold the steering wheel, and then she kept scooting too far forward with her big old belly right now, and she kept honking the horn.
See, that's the
great.
best.
It was great.
And you'll remember it forever.
Oh yeah,
Because you were present.
yeah.
Speaking of ice cream, I recently just purchased a Ninja Creamy. And I know you have one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll ever go and get ice cream again.
Will you be showing it off on Friday at the barbecue?
Ooh, I didn't even think of that. I mean, it's not here, it's at home, but
Well.
I can bring one.
it makes like amazing ice cream.
Okay, this is exciting.
All right, let me tell you why I did it.
My boys would love this.
So my whole thing in 2025 was, and as I have a Red Bull, is I'm not so concerned about like calories or sugar or fat or anything like that. I just want to try to cut out like all the craziness that is in some of our food, right? And one of the things that I absolutely love is ice cream. And that's fine. Like I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm going to cut back on ice cream. I'm not. It's not going to happen. But what I didn't know, because I've never really made ice cream, is that when you make ice cream in real life, not like when you go and buy it from the store, you put it in the freezer, and because there's no like preservatives to keep it like, for lack of a better term, like fluffy, if you had real ice cream and put it in the freezer, it turns into like a brick. You cannot eat it. It's like solid ice.
Yep.
And so all natural ice cream is required to be like churned and then eaten right then and there. So like when you get Bluebell, the reason you can scoop it out of the like container is because of all of the chemicals that are in there to make it basically ice cream that is readily available to eat. And I was like, wow, that's a bummer. Ice cream is now one of the things that I have to try to like figure out how I can reproduce. Like mayonnaise. I make my own mayonnaise now.
Nice.
Right? All these like little stupid things that I do that are like not even healthy for me to begin with, but at least I feel like I'm cutting out the like bullshit,
It's
right?
certainly healthier, yeah.
Right. And again, this is no attack on calories, fat, or anything. Bring it on. I just want to get rid of the bullshit. So I get this Ninja Creamy, and first of all, ice cream's like super easy to make. I had no idea like how simple it is to make ice cream, so I feel kind of silly that yeah.
Done.
And then you freeze it, and then it's in the container, and it's like a giant brick. Like there's no eating it. Like, but then you put it in the little mixer, and it creams it up and churns it up, and it is unbelievable.
Do you do it in individual servings, or do you churn your whole ice cream thing every time?
So they make these pints, and you can churn just half of it if you want.
Okay.
And then you can like eat the top half, and then you can churn the other half. But yeah, you can't make less than a half a pint to be eaten at a time.
Okay.
So depending on your like ice cream, intake, you may not want to like make ice cream unless someone else is involved.
Well, we would need at least 2 pints between my boys.
So then you're good to go.
So I could have told you all this stuff. So have you ever heard of Kemps ice cream? Okay, so it's the Bluebell of Minnesota.
And that's you?
My great grandpa.
Oh my goodness.
When you buy Kemps ice cream, it's a brick. They don't use chemicals. So you buy a gallon. Okay,
And then they like
I'm not
make
kidding.
you churn it.
You have to churn at the house.
Got it.
So
See,
yeah.
No wonder you had the
Yeah.
creamer. What do you call it?
it's the
Ninja
Ninja Creamy.
Kaylee wanted it. Well, Kaylee, my wife, is. We have a joke about this. She's a ninja slut. Like she just buys everything ninja.
Love it.
So
Got the cabinetry for it or the storage, then have at it.
Or that's our whole. Everything's out. So, anyways, yeah, if you get Kemps ice cream from the store, you can't get it at HEB. Unfortunately, it's the only thing HEB doesn't have that I want.
How do you churn your ice cream without an ice cream maker?
So the same thing. Like, what's the?
I bet you could do it with a blender, right?
It's not that. What? How do you make
food processor?
Oh, maybe. I don't. I'm not an appliance expert. What's it called? When you make cake and you have the little blender thing and it sits there with the
mixer.
Okay, if you take a mixer and you pour hot water in, you can do it that way.
Gotcha. So here's what's even crazier. Now I'm going down the rabbit hole with all of my recipes and stuff, right? And I, Chris, is it Chris Evans? Chris Evans. He's like a podcaster. He's here in Austin, but he's very big.
Is it Joe Rogan?
He's up there. He's been on Rogan, but he's here. And he was talking about how he is making these like low-fat ice creams, but using his protein powder. Mm-hmm. I did it for the first time last night. Boom. Couldn't believe it. So you're getting like 50 grams of protein, only like 100 calories in like the half a pint. It's like checking a lot of the boxes there, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm in love with my Ninja Creamy. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, I really appreciate you telling me about it because my son's birthday is coming up, and that's something besides Air Jordans or whatever that would be nice for all of us to have. But,
Just, hang on.
That's what we'll do. We'll make ice cream for his birthday. It'll be our
And then you can put the
inaugural
mix-ins in. So like it's Girl Scout cookie time, and like a lot of my friends with kids are hitting me up. So I bought a bunch of boxes of Girl Scout cookies that I'm not even really that into. And this kind of like fucks
Well, you got to
up.
have one favorite. I mean, this is an important.
They don't call them Samoas anymore.
What are they now?
That's racist.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're called like caramel chews or something. I forget. We just talked about this. I got the whole like sheet out, and they're like, which ones do you want? So obviously I had to get Thin Mints. And then I got the peanut butter patties. Mm-hmm. And then there's a new one that they didn't have when I was younger. And I forget the name of it, but it's basically like an Oreo with caramel on there. It starts with an A. It's a new one.
And it's got chocolate around it, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So it's like the peanut butter one, but caramel.
Yes.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout.
I forget the name of it. So those are in the mail. But I got my Thin Mints and I got my peanut butter patties. And then once you mix your ice cream, you can put mix-ins in and push the mix-in button. So last Sunday, I had vanilla ice cream with peanut butter patty mix-in, and it tasted like Butterfinger ice cream.
You hit that mix-in button.
I'm telling you.
You went for it.
See how excited
Look,
I
you're
am?
so
Do you see
excited.
me? Like, I feel like I'm getting red in the face.
I need ice cream right now. I think it's rude that you don't have it here.
I know. Maybe I should just bring it here, right? But then I feel like I just eat ice cream all day. Anyway.
The way you do it, it's not the worst thing in the world for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not very good for you either. But you know what? You got to live a little.
What if you only live once?
YOLO.
And also, it's going by
Twice
really
this
fast.
week.
Twice. I'm like, I haven't heard that in a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I'm 46 years old, y'all. I still feel like I'm not mentally, well, some days, but I don't feel that old.
I know what you mean.
I feel like me, and sometimes me's a little extra tired.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I'm middle-aged, but I am.
I get it.
I'm middle-aged.
I feel like I'm like 30.
Yeah, that's fair. 30s are
not.
great. 30s are when I was supposed to be really present.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. So I'm just going to pretend like you're only as old as you feel.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. And then, we'll get you out of here because I know you have lots of stuff to do and we want you to be present.
Realty hack.
Oh, is that today?
Going after this. Anthony Lamacchia is something I want to see.
I'm launching like 4 listings. I can't make it.
You don't want to be present with all of your other agents.
I do want to. That is a good one. I think they talk about great stuff. It wasn't on my radar.
Understood.
Unfortunately.
Is there anything that you are doing right now in the last 60 to 90 days, whether it's maybe like an app or a tech product or anything along those lines? Is there anything new?
Did you intentionally tee that up?
What?
Okay, because I know where this conversation's going, but I'm just curious if you knew that.
I do it for everybody.
Okay.
Because it's the new year and people are getting into new things. So is there anything that you're doing that you're like, oh my gosh, I started using this or doing that or whatever?
Well, I started using my CRM.
Okay.
But that's just me being silly. But I've never really utilized mine properly because I've always, as soon as I got a hold of Ninja, I was like, okay, if they cross my mind, there is a reason. I am going to reach out to that person. So I have lived my life with that just as part of my daily, how I move through the day since I heard that first in 2016. So but I am actually updating people's birthdays and stuff. But I would say that there's two things. And one thing is going to house all the things. And probably Matt can talk about it more, but I'm slowly but surely dropping all of my systems, whether they're EXP or just, branded to just me, or just a tool or an asset that I have that's specific to the team. I'm putting them all in one landing page so they could be easy to navigate, either from my administrative people, and then hopefully these launchpad agents, right? We want to make all of the access to all of these incredible tools, because there's so many. If you just go to that dashboard, it's like, whoa, I don't know, especially if you're new.
Kinda
so
overwhelming.
we're going to have the Hendrix Residential Group version of all the tools and assets, whether it's EXP specific or not. And that way anyone can plug in and get their signs, get into their CRM, access all of my assets. And really important calculators, our Austin Homes for Sale app. And that was the other thing. But what I was just talking about is Block. It's a company called Block. They're new.
Yeah.
Peter?
Heard of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and
You know Peter pretty well.
Well, if he hears this, he's going to be like, you need to get your shit together, Michelle.
Is that right?
Because-
He called me this morning to get my shit together too.
Well, my stuff does fall to the bottom of the list. My priorities for something like that, I guess that's where in the business or on the business I sort of fall off of. But I know that exists. I know it's there. They've been really supportive and clearly very patient. But that's the answer for streamlining my business with all of the tools that we choose to leverage. And then inside of that, a long time ago, I got a call from Homestack, and they've called everyone, I'm sure. It's no secret that you can brand your app. I could brand my Unlock MLS app for $0.
Okay.
But Homestack, a long time ago, like 2017 or 2018, when they were very, very new, I got to buy the Austin Homes for Sale app. Like, I got to buy that name.
I see.
And so luckily I knew to keep it, just really generic, because people, I guess the tool is great, but I want people to not worry that I'm going to hunt them down with, 12 phone calls a week or whatever if they choose to use the app. But what's different about it, and probably other platforms do it, but the support is so amazing. I'll never leave them. On Homestack, you can brand it however you want. But mine is the Austin Homes for Sale app. I plugged it into the relocation guide. We've got a full page in there. And then, of course, that feeds leads to the team. But what's really, really unique about it is I never did a good job converting at open houses, because I just didn't want people to feel like I was trying to convert them into a client.
Right.
And so I wouldn't ask for people's information. They would ask for mine sometimes. But with this app, the way that we have it structured, I've got a ton of Austin-specific links, and I can't get that information on Zillow or Redfin. You can get the information on schools, sure, but can you get the information on the charter schools? Do you know who to access to give you guidance in that space with all of the schools? There's a company called Alt Ed. They're linked into my website or my Austin Homes for Sale app. So to have, where are all the boat docks? Like, where can you launch your boat? Where can you play golf? Where's all the details on parks and recreation? Where's your favorite coffee shop? Like, it just has these links that are hyper local specific. So when I say you can have this app that has all of this Austin specific information and no one's going to bother you.
Yeah.
And your information is never going to be sold, give us a shout if you need help with any of this information that you find on this thing. But I think it's so much more approachable, the way that it's set up, and the fact that we're leading with value first and enhancing the experience that they can't get at a more generic site. I mean, that's just a tool that I've been really proud to have. And I have lender affiliates on there.
What's it called?
It's called Homestack. That's the company
Homestack.
that supports it. But my app is Austin Homes for Sale in the App Store. So
I will make sure that I stock that.
download that.
I will.
And let me know if any of the links are broken.
I will.
But our buyer's guide's in there, our seller's guide, our relocation guide, the digital relocation guide is in there. So it all ties back together. But that is an important piece That's a really great tool for us. And I encourage our agents to start a conversation by saying, if you want to look for houses and not be shaken down by some stranger agent,
Yeah.
and get some more insight into whatever is most important to you, specifically schools with the people I'm talking about, then take this and let us know if we can help you.
I have a question for both of you. So we've talked about all of the great resources that y'all have at EXP with people like John Dietz and the Hive and all this other stuff. You don't have to answer right now because maybe you don't know. But if it does come off the top of your head, go ahead and shout it out. Who do you think would be the best resource to have a conversation with on ways to create content and topics for a podcast?
ChatGPT.
There's no one at EXP that you feel like would
unfortunately,
be a good
no
fit?
one's going to beat that.
Okay.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that do it, and I wouldn't know who to say specifically, but what I figured out is back to that people that are like you. There is someone for everyone that's doing something in the shape or form that you want to do it. So whether it's a podcast, I mean, I didn't have to look any further than Matt at EXP because he brought it up and I raised my hand. But I mean, certainly I need some more insight and know-how into the topic, but I wouldn't know who to say to go to right away. I just know that they're available and they're out there. All I have to do is look.
Well, I put it out there
deeper
into the universe, so
If
I
you
wondered
need
who
it, though, there's an actual answer. It's called Live on the Air. They have a full
Oh,
podcast
is that the one that was at?
at EXPCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Who's the guy
I just
or
remember-
girl?
You could be the guy.
Yeah, you
Maybe
could
I
be.
could be the guy.
No, he just remember his haircut.
And he had that cool box.
Yeah,
It was a nice setup.
Looks like a finance bro. You make fun of him because he wears vests.
Yeah. Okay.
He looked very kind.
Yeah, very
Easy
kind.
to talk to.
Very. I'll get you his name.
I would love that. What's your day look like tomorrow between like 1 and 4?
On a Friday?
It'll be a Friday.
I don't know. Is that when ribs are happening?
That is exactly when ribs are happening, and I would love to feed you lunch.
Thank you. Well, keep me posted.
The door is
rain-
open.
Okay. The rain pushed everything into
Yeah.
15 minutes from now into late tomorrow afternoon. We've got to figure out how to get 4 listings off the ground between, and I don't like launching listings on a Friday,
I don't either.
but here we go.
I understand. Well, here's the good news. It's every Friday. So
Every single Friday.
unless there is a holiday on that week, every single Friday.
That's a nice commitment that you make to your people.
Yep. I got to feed agents. Everybody's got to eat lunch.
Yeah. And sometimes we're hungrier than others.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten yet. So
I've seen it.
I'm gonna eat some leftovers from last week.
Perfect. That's
You're
a long
welcome
time
to
ago,
it.
those leftovers.
It's barbecue.
If I was that was your mother, I'd say no.
If you were my wife, if my wife right now, she'd be like, "Please stop eating out. You pay so much money on the credit card."
What else do we need to know, guys?
Nothing here. I think let's wrap it up because I'm getting close on time here now too.
Right on. Do your thing.
All right, Matt Kemps, Lone Wolf Realty Group at EXP Realty.
Matt Kirschling with Gold Star Mortgage.
Michele Hendrix with the Hendrix Residential Group at EXP.
Thank you
Michelle.
so much.
Thank you.